In view of the notable deterioration that is evident in the Cove Wharf, the departmental government announced the intervention work will be done to save this place.
The local government signed last days an agreement which it seeks to intervene in the Cove Dock, whose infrastructure was affected by Hurricanes Eta and Iota, which caused a deterioration in the docking areas, the floor of the place, as well as the beams of the passenger areas, which presents remarkable oxidation.
To sign the act of initiation of an agreement whose objective would be to carry out the maintenance to rehabilitate the Cove Dock. This is an agreement for 1,038 million pesos, with which we hope to reactivate this area. This Cove Dock, which we all know has an important projection and that will help to join efforts to receive cruise ships in this area of the island, which undoubtedly will contribute very positively in the tourist and economic development of our island.
With this intervention, the local government seeks to recover the Cove Dock, which has become an emblematic site for those who visit the department due to the murals and the location of the same, which has made the place feature in several photographs taken by tourists.
Teachers from San Andres joined the announced 24-hour strike call for today at national level. During the cessation of activities, the teachers reiterated the reasons for the new day of protest.
There are several reasons why teachers declared today a national strike for 24 hours. According to what they announced, they reject the unwillingness of the national government to comply with the agreement signed with them.
This form of protest is to make known to the national government the non-conformities that exist due to the non-compliance with the agreements they had at the negotiating tables.
Educators denounced the defunding of the public system due to the reform of the general system of participation to guarantee health, education, and drinking water.
We are also emphasizing the definancing in the budget of education, health, basic sanitation, and drinking water, which in one way or another also benefits all the most needy population of the country.
On the other hand, the teachers demand that the issuance of the decree through which the 8,000 teachers linked by Decree 1278 to be called to a course that will entitle them to promotion and salary relocation not to be delayed any longer.
To the national government above all, there are some teachers, more than 8,000 teachers, who are waiting on the decree for the national government to give the courses so that they can be promoted and improve their economic conditions. The other thing is that in one way or another, the departmental government is neglecting the educational institutions. They are demanding attendance, but they are neglecting the part of the biosecurity protocols.
These specific demands of the Colombian Teachers Union are added to the reason of the social protest called by the National Strike Committee.
Members of different guilds of the department met with the National Director of the Civil Aeronautics to verify the progress in some adjustments to the airport.
The meeting was attended by the National Director of Civil Aeronautics, Jair Fajardo, the Director in the Archipelago, José Luis Luján, Executive Director of Pro Archipiélago, Erlid Arroyo, Congresswoman Elizabeth J. Pang, and members of different guilds of our island, such as Cotelco, Chamber of Commerce, and the Association of Native Inns. The meeting was born as a need to address the infrastructure improvements of the air terminal.
This meeting arises because we have been meeting on different occasions with several organizations, officials, and institutions to address all those challenges and shortcomings that we have identified at the airport. We know that we are close to the arrival of international flights and also at the national tourists that are visiting us. So we called a meeting again in November to know how we have advanced in all the commitments that we were made in the different working groups and with all the stakeholders.
Among the progress presented by the Director of the Civil Aeronautics is that the platform is already 45% complete. The escalator is in the process of being imported from Thailand and will be delivered in April 2022. Regarding the air conditioners, 76 of them have already been intervened and 12 new ones have arrived. In addition, other portable units will be purchased to meet the demand, and certain spare parts are being acquired to solve a problem of high condensation in the ducts of some of the existing ones. As for the baggage belts, one is already in operation and 2 others are already in the process of installation.
It is notorious that there is some progress. However, there is an immense concern of all the actors who were at the meeting, because we have identified that although the electric belts are already working and that there is improvement with the air conditioners, there has not been 100% progress in everything. For example, regarding the air conditioners, the necessary coverage of all the waiting rooms are not being met. Therefore, at some point when the rooms are not being used, it is nice and it covers the need. But when there are many flights and there are many people, the heat is felt and there are not enough air conditioners. That and many other things are of concern. For example, as for the elderly, pregnant women, or someone who needs the escalators, they cannot have this service because to date they are not fixed.
The director of the foundation stated that another follow-up meeting is expected to be held at the beginning of next year to verify the commitments made this time by the Aviation Authority.
And in other news, the provision of potable water service continues to be a problem that affects inhabitants of the island. The service provider entity has not been able to end this situation up to the moment.
The ruptures in the impulsion pipeline that supplies the community of the Hill continue to affect the provision of drinking water service, the situation that afflicts the families who suffer with the surge in the precious liquid. In view of this situation, Veolia Aguas del Archipelago has informed the community in general that it has to make changes to the water supply schedule due to the frequent ruptures that are occurring in the impulsion pipe that supply water to the Mission Hill cistern. It points out that the decision is temporary until the specific break that has affected the normal provision of drinking water service and that have not allowed maintaining the supply according to the established schedules can be identified. It also clarified that these problems are due to the failures in the impulsion pipeline that carries water from the Luxby desalination plant to the storage tank located on Mission Hill, infrastructure that is owned by the departmental government and was installed by contractors of the UNGRD, being delivered later in August of 2019 to Veolia for its operation. However, as a temporary alternative, Veolia has announced that it will deliver water through water tanks. This service can be provided through WhatsApp 321-201-4620 while the service is normalized.
And COVID-19 continues to spread in San Andres. According to today's report, there are more than 50 new cases.
November 25th, the number of COVID-19 infections in San Andres maintains the trend of spreading of the virus among the islanders. According to the daily report given by the country's health authorities, 54 new positive cases of COVID-19 have been registered in the island. On the other hand, according to data provided by the Ministry of Health, to date, no deaths due to coronavirus have been recorded in the island territory. In this sense, the detailed information shows that since the beginning of the pandemic until today, the Archipelago Department has a total of 7,986 cases of infection. It is important to remember the most recent campaign of the Departmental Health Secretariat that invites people who present symptoms of suspicion for COVID-19 to contact directly their health promoter entity, which should come to their home within a maximum period of 72 hours to perform the test and follow up on their health status.
Hello, here are the best sports of the island. At the end of November the 30th, the 4 qualified teams will be competing for 2 places in the finals. This coming November 30th will be taking place the semi-final games of the W Play League of Colombian Professional Basketball. These teams that advance are the Titanes of Barranquilla, who will be facing the Caribbean Storm of San Andres. And for the other bracket, the Cimarrones Chocó of Providence will be facing the Motilones of Cúcuta. The teams will be playing 5 games. The team that wins 3 will advance to the final. The 2 winners will face each other in the final. We spoke with the director of the events of the Professional Basketball Division, Pedro Raga, who gave us more details.
Una semifinal que se ve muy pareja, va a estar muy disputada.
What is coming is the semi-final of the W Play League, a very even semi-final. It will be very disputed where the Titanes of Barranquilla will face Caribbean Storm, the home team. The Motilones of Cúcuta will face the Cimarrones of Chocó, which is the other match. Really a very even semi-final. He gave us 14 days to have the event behind closed doors. We will wait for the Secretariat of Health to inform us asked if we would be able to open the Coliseum for people to come and attend the semifinals and finals. We are already in the process. I aspire and hope that we can get the yes, the go ahead. But everything will depend on the COVID peak we have on the island. We are very cautious with this, and we are going to respect absolutely everything that the government and the health secretariat indicate to us regarding this point.
About the entrance of the public to the final, this is how Raga talked about it. And in another stadium, the pre-selection of the island baseball in the under 14 and under 21 category continue with their preparation to face the next national competitions. The pre-selection games for the under 14 and under 21 teams have begun, from which the selection that will be representing the archipelago in the next national baseball tournament will be chosen. For the call of this pre-selection, players from the sectors of Hill, San Luis, Barrick, Cove, North End, and Old Providence were taken into account. The Under-23 National Tournament will be held in Bogota from December the 2 to the 13th and will serve as a preamble to the National Sports Games. We spoke with the president of the Baseball League, Antonio de Armas, who told us more details.
Right now we are trying to take out a selection to represent the archipelago in the national tournament sub-14 and sub-23. At this precise moment, there is 40 players in each one of these categories. They are divided in two teams, in two pre-selection, and they are playing daily. We have in game so that we can select the best set of players to represent the archipelago in these national tournaments. Soon, the players from Providence will be involucrated in this development of the selection that we are trying to take out.
It is good to see the reactivation of baseball, but even better to see the participation of players in the national tournaments. And this will be all in Sports for tonight. We will see you on another broadcast. We continue with Lisa.
Thank you, Victor, and this is all for tonight. See you tomorrow at 1 p.m. in another broadcast of Teleislas News. Good night.